Hello, everyone. This is Baba Will, and I'm coming here today to talk to you about an issue that I find has been prevalent among relationships, uh, between people, intimate relationships, and I'm talking specifically about men who project uh, their insecurities onto women. When we're dealing with relationships, when you're talking about relationships between, two people, it can be very complex. But I'm one who likes to believe that everything that's complex had a simple beginning. They stem from simple origins. All right. I think it's interesting when a man and a woman who are in a relationship, and this can apply to early budding relationships, people who meet each other and they're getting to know each other, the beginning initial stages of a relationship, to well-seasoned, long-term, monogamous unions. I think what I'm about to say applies all across the board in terms of heterosexual relationships. If a man continuously tries to sort of track the actions of his wife or his girlfriend, his paramour, his child's mother, if they're in a relationship, he's second guessing everything that she's saying to him, questioning everything that she does, or you're sort of not trusting what she's saying, then clearly there's an indication that something is wrong. Something is wrong. But my point of view is gonna stem from the male perspective, from the men. If you constantly feel that you have to second guess what your woman is telling you, that you have to backtrack or test her, that you can't believe what she's saying to you, then what's happening here is there's a lack of trust, there's a lack of loyalty, there is a problem. Some men are afraid to embrace the feminine qualities that exist in all human beings, irrespective of gender. And what I mean by that is, oftentimes, in certain cultures, men are not encouraged to cry, especially when they're boys, when they're being reared, whether it's in a double parent household or a single parent household. In some cases, the boy falls from riding a bicycle and he's told to get up and not cry, because boys don't cry. Men are supposed to be the breadwinner. Men are supposed to be macho. Men are not supposed to show their feelings or show their sensitive side. So now, if we as men are comprised, or we have a feminine attributes and qualities within ourselves, and we don't tend or take care or nurture those qualities, that just sounds to me like there would be an imbalance. And when you have an imbalance, how is there order? So you're going to create problems for yourself. You're not going to be able to get in contact, or not, I wouldn't say in contact, but you're not going to understand. You're barely understanding who you are because you've been ignoring a certain aspect of yourself for so long. Now that you're an adult and you're now engaging in a relationship with a woman, all things being equal, if you don't know yourself well enough, know yourself, know what you like, know how to get in contact, get in touch with your feelings and process them as a man, how would you be ready to engage in a relationship with a woman? To engage in a healthy relationship with a woman. If you're not ready, if you haven't been in a position to embrace yourself, if you haven't been in a position to learn about who you are, to get in touch with your feelings. So when you feel angry and when you get emotional, you're supposed to shut that down. Turn it off like a light switch. And hold on to those feelings. And not show that you're angry. Not show that you're soft. Because men who are macho or subscribe to the machismo quality of life never show weakness. But if something that your wife does that you may not like, or your girlfriend does, or your paramour does, or your baby or child's mother does that you don't like, everything that you repressed within yourself as far as those emotions that you did not tap into, or that you don't know, you're not familiar with, or you've had to learn to suppress, now has to come out, and it's going to come out in ways that are unhealthy. You're going to lash out. And I'm not saying this is a standard type of response that all men do, but that's one of the unhealthy ways, unhealthy aspects and things that come out from someone who doesn't know how to deal with their feelings. Because we have feelings, especially if we're people who have emotions. And I'm not talking about those who suffer from different pathologies, like individuals who may suffer from being sociopathic, individuals who are void of emotions. I'm talking about people who have emotions, men who may not like what their partner is doing, and they'll get angry, create a situation that's unsafe. They'll start fighting. They'll start behaving in ways to show that they don't trust their partner. Why? Because they don't know how to sufficiently communicate their feelings, so that that can create a healthy exchange, a healthy discussion, so that both parties can know what to expect from each other. No, men, due to the fact that you haven't been in touch with your feelings, you've been trained and programmed not to get in touch with your feelings, you're now trying to control another human being. And God forbid if you were subjected to any form of domestic violence in the household, where your parents, God forbid, were involved with domestic violence. Now, these are actions that directly and indirectly affect you as a child. You learned negative behavior. The chances of you repeating this negative behavior are greater, maybe higher. So now that you're an adult, guess what? The propensity of you not trusting your partner could be high. The propensity or the chances of you, the probability of you behaving in a way that's unhealthy methods of resolve problems are high. So what are we doing? What are we doing? As a man, we should be able, I mean, what are the positive qualities that men are taught? To be the provider of families, the caretaker of families, the protector, breadwinner. The adjectives and qualities go on and on and on. In many cases, and which is sad, in addition to those positive qualities, men adopt the disastrous, devastating qualities. Like, you'll have men who's the protector, but then some will become the abusers, the batterers, the terrorizers. When you hold something in for so long, at some point, you're going to explode. When you hold your emotions for so long, if you're a rational, thinking, sound human being, I believe if you're holding something for so long, there's only so much that you can take. And at some point you will snap. And why does it have to get to that point? Why? Is because you were conditioned as a man to not get in touch with your sensitive or with your feelings, because that was considered to be soft. That was, you weren't allowed to show any vulnerability or weaknesses. You have to be strong. You have to take the hits. You have to be tough. To what extent? At what cost? If these flaws, now, there are no perfect situations. There are no perfect human beings. We're talking about human beings. But what we can strive to do is work on ourselves, consciously work on ourselves, and make the efforts to address our shortcomings and build off of that. Use our strengths to address our weaknesses, so that way we can continue to live fruitful and productive lives, especially with our wives. If you have a wife or a girlfriend, if to foster healthy relationships, you need to be able to be healthy within yourself. As far as domestic violence, in short, it goes both ways. There are females who abuse men. But this is for the intents of the purposes of this video, I'm addressing men who project their insecurities towards women. And it's unfair. It's unfair to the women, and it's unfair to yourselves. And it's unfair to children, to the children if you both have children, share it, or raising children together. It's unfair. All I can say, because this is a phenomenon. It's not even a phenomenon. It's a reality that has occurred long before me and will probably occur long after me. But in the interim, make the effort to work things out. Make the effort to improve and work on yourself. So that way, these behaviors don't have to get passed down from generation to generation. If we learned certain behaviors from our parents, God forbid, we were subjected to domestic violence, the propensity of us passing those or behaving in that way and passing those behaviors down to the next generation to continue that devastating, destructive cycle is very high. And I don't subscribe to the idea that people can't change. We change every day. Our bodies change every day. So people can change. Like my videos, leave a comment. I hope everybody's doing well. I'll talk to you soon.